I'm Vic Myers. Welcome to The Resistance. August 27th, 2025. The best day America has seen since November 5th, 2024. Why, you ask? Because Sean Dunn, a guy armed with nothing more than a sub sandwich and some courage, just beat the system. The grand jury refused to indict him for felony assault. That's hilarious. A DOJ employee with lunch in his hand stood up to the GOP invasion force. And the people said, cool. It's ironic because in criminal law, they say that a prosecutor can indict a ham sandwich. But this time, the sandwich fought back. Mostly, though, I think it's glorious. It gives me hope. See, they also failed to indict Sydney Reid. Her crime was resisting restraint when she tried to stop Gestapo from dragging inmates out of the D.C. jail and into federal custody. Again, the grand jury said no. Here's why it gives me hope. Got my handy-dandy Constitution here. The Fifth Amendment says, no person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury. Brilliant words. Words that give power where other checks have failed. You know, we usually think of checks and balances as one branch of government checking another. Of course, lately, Congress hands its power to the executive freely, and the courts, especially the Supreme Court, well, they've been looking the other way. That balance is broken. But grand juries, they're different. They're a hybrid. They're regulated by Congress, the legislative branch. They're convened by the courts, the judicial branch, and they're guided by prosecutors, the executive branch. But at the end of the day, ordinary people outweigh the power of the government itself. And that's by design. Our founders had lived under a tyrant king who weaponized prosecution to crush liberty. They knew what it meant to have no rights when accused of a crime. So they built safeguards. And one of the strongest was this: giving ordinary people the power to slam the brakes on government abuse. Today we live in a country where one party controls all three branches, but grand juries don't answer to them. They're made up of everyday people, 16 to 23 citizens, chosen at random, and it only takes 12 at the most to look the government in the eye and say, enough. By refusing to indict Sean Dunn and Sydney Reid, citizens told Trump directly, we will not allow your abuse of power, and there's nothing you can do about it. That is citizen power. And that's why it gives me hope. Because these jurors stood up. They gave us an example to follow. They proved in a powerful way that people aren't just quietly going along. And that means there's still fight left in our democracy. August 27, 2025. A great day in American history. Thanks for listening. Good day.